All right, can everybody hear me?
Yes, yes.
Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes, peace, peace.
Peace, God. To the gods.
Peace, God. Peace, God.
All right, we're going to get started with the discussion for tonight. Thank you for your patience and participation. Just some updates before we jump right into the subject matter. Last week, we had basic training. Basic training is our efforts to promote exercise, promote proper body mass ratio index, and to promote health. And the rites of passage is a gentle way to move you into that education. As of yesterday morning, we had 23 submissions out of about 300 people. So that means either you forgot, you couldn't do it on the date, which if you didn't do it on the date, that's okay. You can do it on another date. But you still have to submit evidence that you participated. And so, yeah, that's less than 10%. You know, about 7% out of 100% of people who have access to these emails, lives, and this number is a shrunken number from thousands of people who have nationalized. So what we're dealing with right here is everybody who participates, they're either nationalized and completed their process, you know, not any excessive Jewish society issues, up to date on their dues. They might have came through any of the jurists, even indigenous of the North, and they're up to date with everything. There are lots of other people. And I understand their lack of participation, either it being voluntary or because of some other circumstance. But everybody who gets the notices, who we have names, when you don't submit that information and you don't notify us, well, you know, I have a disability. I can't walk. You know, I can't do these particular things, which is understandable. But, you know, just some communication. And I haven't went over all emails since this morning. I know we have other emails that are there. But in a general sense, as we move on, we're going to have a more sophisticated way of delivering the data from you to us and from us to you. But in the meantime, we only have about 20 some odd people who took their fitness test. So we have one more fitness test. That's a conclusion fitness test. And then an exam that's based on 6 weeks of information that you go over in rites of passage. And this will be the new nationality exam. We have a current nationality exam that people take, but that exam will not exist anymore after we're done with this. And you will be taking, or new people and us will be taking the rites of passage exam just to make sure you're proficient, you understand what you're participating in. No one understands what we're doing. The number one cause of problems with the government of the United States of America, which we are participants in as well, is ignorance of the nationals of the jurisdiction and or freedoms without responsibility. Meaning, in America, you can eat whatever you want. It's not illegal to be obese or atrophy in the United States of America. It is in our jurisdiction. Because you cannot get the best out of yourself by being obese. You just can't. And because we have learned over time, through study, research, experiment, that having high levels of pathogens and toxins in the body causes disturbances emotionally, mentally, and physically, we can't have nationals who are willingly participating in their own demise, right? So the fitness tests that we do, basic training tests, they are tests that help us stay healthy. Everybody in this jurisdiction has to remain as healthy as they are able to. And if they haven't been healthy, then we're going to put the things in order to help them increase their health. Now, we as a people are not used to anybody telling us we can't be overweight or underweight. We're not used to that. And this is not me telling you, this is what we all agree to when we say we come in ARNA, we agree to the Constitution, we agree to the protocols, and this is what you're agreeing to. Because we are a new people in the sense that we went through genocide, we went through denationalization, and now we are in a recovery program called ARNA, right? And so the idea is with the recovery program is to implement the best methodology that we can in order to keep us all healthy. There are conditions that we can suffer from if we don't do that. We will accelerate our work rates, our energy levels, even our intelligence by being more healthy. And so we ask you, if you have questions about the fitness test, if you need to make adjustments, we're all open to that. We need full participation, full record of these particular things. Because if we don't get full record, you can't pass through the rites of passage, and your nationality is provisional until you complete that. So we want you to pass the test. We want you to participate in the exercises. This is not, you're not forced to meet a certain standard. There's a general standard that's given, but you can't be forced. It's your participation. All right. So keep that in mind as we progress through, getting ourselves in better shape and better knowledge, being more aware, and being functional nationals of an operative indigenous government that has the ideology, the knowledge, and the know-how to make us owners, to bring back our health, and to build back our families. There's nothing better than that, right? And we're all doing it together. We're not asking you, like Jim Jones, to drink some special Kool-Aid or do weird stuff. We're just asking you to be healthy, take care of your family, build your economy, and let's all keep building this code so we can work together. And that's what we're going to do. So tonight's discussion is on health. It is a very basic discussion. After this, we only have 2 more classes. And then things are going to pick up dramatically in our operations. Whether you're a jurist, doctor, common national, whatever, things are going to pick up in how we operate, all right? And so all of this is necessary. All of it. It's beginner level, but it is necessary for you to be a functional, aware participant in the things that will make us a functional body politic. This has never been done in our time before, where a group of indigenous people come together under their proper status, all right? Come together not only under their proper status, but have a code and a system in every avenue of life where they contract and make a covenant to uphold to the best of their ability in those areas. Black people have never had that. So we're the first, and we're going to do it in a very, very easy manner. Like, we're gonna make this very easy. So if you just coming on and you didn't hear what I said, this is being recorded. I'm not gonna repeat it. And we're gonna jump right into our subject. Now, the subject is health. This is not guesswork. This is science. This is not even opinionated. There are some wrinkles in implementation techniques, but what your body needs to be healthy, to be at a proper weight, to be able to function without disease, to be able to have children that are healthy, is based on science. It's not based on anybody's belief. All right. And there are all types of ways of teaching you how to eat: keto, vegan, plant-based, I don't know, all the other stuff that's out here. They got all kinds of ways to teach you to eat. We don't advocate any of those diets. The only thing that we advocate is food science. It doesn't matter to us whether you eat meat or whether you don't. But if you do, then you need to know what's healthy and what is not. All right? If you are going to take on any type of food ideology, it should be based on science alone and not based on ideology, beliefs, or trends. All right? So the first thing that we're going to do, I think I'm going to, I'll just use my PowerPoint. See if I can. Yep. All right. This is an older presentation that I did, but it's simple, it's simplistic, and it's going to get right to the point. Now, we have people of various age ranges, and we have children, adults, elderly, etc. You might have a disease problem right now. Issue with your heart, liver, lungs, skin, your hair, whatever it may be, eyesight. The object of what we're doing is to bring you out of that problem. That's the object. The second object is to give you a system of education so that if you want to go further, you can do that. And the last thing we want to talk about is a healthcare plan that we're going to implement in August, where you can get supplements made by us for your body, delivered to you on a 2-month basis. There'll be 6 deliveries in the annual period for a small amount of money. This will help with labor. This will help with you, so you don't have to go try to go in GNC or Whole Foods and figure out whether something is good for you or not. And this is going to improve you if you have a condition that is problematic to you or someone in your family. All right. So we're going to talk about that as well. So the first thing we want to do is get you to understand that because you don't have a problem right now, like you might not be experiencing symptoms, but you may not be eating right or supplementing right, that doesn't mean that you don't have a problem. It just means that you have not detected the problem. And the problem could be growing over a long period of time. For instance, let's say if you never do mineral supplementation, you just eat from Whole Foods sometimes or farmers markets or whatever, you are going to be mineral deficient. And it is only because the nutrients in the soil, in the sense of minerals, are not being put there by most of the farmers. And so the minerals in common romaine lettuce or apple or these other things, the studies have been done by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, private entities, et cetera, showing from the 1930s, during the time of the Great Depression, where you had an issue with farming in the Dust Bowl here, that the food is lacking nutrients. This means that everybody who is eating here needs to supplement to stay at your optimum health capacity and to avoid disease. Because what you're going to recognize is that you're going to start having problems. You might start developing fibroids, erectile dysfunction. All of these things are because of the agriculture. On a greater level, as we continue to build our systems, we've already educated people on how to maintain local agriculture if they're growing food. And over time, all of us, every last family, will need to experiment with growing food locally with your local jurisdiction. That is going to be a must in the future if we want to eat and eat healthy. Because in 15 years, eating how we eat now won't be the same, and we have to put in the systems in place so we can feed ourselves locally. That's going to be super important, and we already laid the base for how we can begin to do that. But we have to know what we need, and it has to be guided by science. Okay, so let's jump right into it. All right. So indigenous nutrition, indigenous healthcare, what the body needs, exercise science, hydration, epigenetics, and zero disease, and rites of passage basic training. All right. These are all things that are markers for us that we have, and we use the Aboriginal Medical Association to deliver the information to you. All right. It is important that you know that you will have small levels or large levels of disease if you do not know how to eat, how to hydrate yourself, how to supplement, how to exercise. These are just basics. And there are other windows to this, to your mental health, etc. But we're starting with some very basic things. All right, so let's jump into the subject. All right. The cost of you not getting your nutrients is what? Malnutrition. What is malnutrition? Malnutrition is when your body is not getting the constituent nutrients that is designed to take in to carry out every one of its functions. All right. Every function that you have requires you to have nutrients to carry out the function. Your breathing, your eyesight, your digestion, all of these things require you to have the nutrients in place to carry out these things. So we're just going to put some very basic things here. Sunlight. Sunlight is a nutrient. It catalyzes a whole bunch of things inside of the body. It is a nutrient. You are indigenous people. You living in Boston your whole life is going to cause nutrient deficiency. And so if you're going to stay there, you need to know how to adapt. If you're not going to move into environments that have more sun, then when it's winter, you have to know how to adapt, because 50 winters in Boston could lead to you having prostate cancer and you saying, well, I've been eating vegetarian or vegan for 30 years. And that means absolutely nothing when it comes to everything that a prostate needs. Because it's based on science and not based on a food trend. Okay? Or you can be plant-based. All I do is eat plants. And I'm going to ask you what one of those plants is giving you your intake of lipids or fats. Because that means that you have to engage in fatty types of vegetation or fruit or things that we consider to be fruit, like drupes that are not fruit, all right, like an avocado, all right, it's not a fruit, but it does have a large seed in it, all right, it's a different, it's not a vegetable or fruit, it's a drupe, all right, or a peach, something like that, all right, these are different classifications of food. But the point is, if you live in Boston for 50 winters and you're not getting your nutrients and your prostate starts having some issues, it is because, one, directly related to your levels of D3. Vitamin D3 and VDR, vitamin D receptor, control over 1,000 genes in the body. And you only have about 25,000 genes. So D3 is controlling over 1,000 of them. And that's what's known now, right now. It could be more. But the point is, the production of B cells, which make antibodies, is controlled by VDR. The synthesis of T cells, which control inside of the cell's immunity, the cytosolic immunity inside of the cell. So you have humoral immunity, which is immunity outside of the cell, which is usually controlled by B cells and antibodies. And then you have immunity inside of the cell, which T cells are pretty much the target cells that deal with that. So when you have someone who has what we are calling HIV or AIDS, they're not synthesizing enough T cells, and something is blocking the synthesis of T cells, and we know exactly what it is, and it's directly related to vitamin D3. Directly related. Going further, any doctor who gives you a diagnosis of HIV or as it progresses to AIDS will know if you got AIDS from homosexual activity or HIV because of the markers that are there. And they're going to know that based on another type of pathogen, which they call, they have different names for these things. And sometimes the jargon can get you lost, all right? But suffice it to say, when you have reverse transcriptase type disease or a prion type disease, which is what HIV and AIDS can become if you are entering someone else's rectum, then you are going to have complications with this. So now vitamin D3 is key in helping destroy these pathogens, ensuring that you have enough antibodies, which are your military, and B cells and T cells. But if your T cells aren't being synthesized, then you got to look at, okay, what genes are now turned off and how are they getting turned off? So we have to learn science, and then the science sets a bedrock for cultural practices. Cultural practices are behaviors that are shaped around some system of belief or design. And if we have some really solid science, and I'm not talking about scientific racism, which is, it happens all the time in these studies. We're talking about things that we discover or we confirm in our jurisdiction. All right. This is why we don't have homosexuals in our jurisdiction. It's not just because, some ancient prophets wrote about it. It's because we can detail what that behavior does to a person's anatomy, physiology, psychology, etc., in great, great, great detail. So if you have enough vitamin D3, you can avoid these types of things. But if you live in a New York City your whole life, and you're not getting proper levels of sunlight winter after winter after winter, and you don't have the right supplement, then you have a problem. But we already solved that. All right. In the Aboriginal Medical Association. So you need, my point is, sunlight is nutrition, and you need to be in the sun. You might say, well, I'm Muslim. I don't want to go to the beach because I don't want to show my skin. You need to find a private beach, a backyard, or something so your skin can get exposed, because if your religion conflicts with nature, then something is wrong. It does not mean you should, as a man or a woman, go and expose yourself against your natural inclination to preserve, your righteousness. That's not what we're saying. We're saying this is the science. How do we make cultural adjustments to this science? Next, breathing. Breathing is a form of nutrition. It is nutrition. Because what is happening is you are taking oxygen into your body, which becomes a part of the mitochondrial engine in every cell. And if you don't know how to breathe, you're going to have a problem. For instance, we wrote the book on exercise. I don't have a copy of it in here, but the primary problem with you being extra sore all the time when you work out is because of the buildup of lactic acid. But your personal trainer is not a scientist. So he or she has you going through the circuit, doing all this stuff, cardio, all this other stuff, and they're not even teaching you how to breathe, which is the most important part of exercise. The most important part of exercise is to master your breath. Why? Because you want the oxygen to circulate to your muscles. You want the oxygen to circulate into your mitochondria because that starts the ATP process, or doesn't start it, it's a part of the ATP process, and it brings your body energy. That's what ATP is. So people who don't do regular deep breathing, as we recommended, 3 times a day, 3 minutes, do some deep, relaxed breathing. We are constantly under stress. We pay bills, we're raising children, we're in relationships, marriages, there's stress sometimes. We are working to maintain ourselves. We need time for leisure. We need time for all of these things. There's a lot happening all the time. And the one thing that you can do is learn how to breathe. 3 times a day. Go somewhere quiet. At work, at home, doesn't matter. Quiet space, lay down, sit down, 3 minutes, deep breathing. It's going to help you learn to control your emotions. Some of us fly off the handle. We all have done it. Because what? We get tense, cortisol sets in, and once the cortisol sets in, our oxygen levels go down, and we don't know that our body is in fight or flight. But as soon as we start deep breathing, our body says, oh, you're okay. Thank you for giving me oxygen so I can lower this cortisol. Now we're okay. Okay, we have to learn how to breathe. Breathing is nutrition. Water. We're either usually drinking way too much water after we learn about health, or way too less water when we don't know anything about health. Drinking gallons of water a day is not healthy for you. You can overwork your kidneys. All right? There are several diseases related to excess drinking of water. We can look at your face and tell when you're drinking too much water. It's going to show under your eyes. It's going to show at a lot of places. If you're consuming the amount of vegetation and fruit that you need in a day, that's most of your water. And there are 2 ways to detect whether you need water. And it's really simple. Are you thirsty? You should drink water when you're thirsty. Secondly, you can do a scratch test on your arms or your legs. And if you see some ash coming on your arms or legs, your legs are better usually because, you know, we're using all kind of coconut oil and everything. We got jojoba oil, we got all that stuff with it. Test your legs, and if your legs show hydration, meaning you scratch it and it doesn't, you know, then you're hydrated. If you scratch it and you're not, oh, you need some water. So we're gonna do the ash check to see who needs some water. Some of y'all ashy right now, scratching your leg like, damn, let me go get some water. Let me go get some water. But this is serious though. Do you know how many functions water has in the body? And what happens when you have repeated excess dehydration or repeated excess overhydration? So drink when you're thirsty, use your ash test, and consume fruit and vegetation. I don't recommend any adult, unless they're sick, eating more than 2 meals a day. There's no reason to. Lunch and dinner. And when you get really healthy, supplements and 1 large meal. When you get that level of health. Your body won't want anything else, and you won't lose weight excessively if you're supplementing and exercising. All right. And if you have gone over your natural weight, cutting it down to 2 meals, a healthy lunch with some fruit and salad, and a dinner will help bring the weight down when you're supplementing properly. All right. So more science. 28 minerals. That is all the body needs to function. 28 minerals. No more, no less. There are extra minerals that will increase your performance. In our supplements, we use up to 78 minerals. They're only going to epigenetically trigger more energy, more healthy functions in the body. All right. 16 vitamins, even though you're only taught about 13. There are 16 vitamins. And these are some things that you are not going to just get without supplementation. And 22, what you're calling amino acids, which are truly carboxylic acids, and that is for protein synthesis. You need that. How are you going to get that if you're plant-based, if you're not supplementing? You're going to begin to atrophy. And once you begin to atrophy, the first system it impacts is your first important, besides your muscles and your bones, is your immune system. All right. So these are things that we need to be doing on a regular basis, and we need to study and learn how to, what are we going to do? How are we going to do these things? So we've been helping with literature. You know, these are some of the books that we have in ARNA. All right. The first book is a book that will only be available to nationals. We're going to complete that in probably like 2 weeks. And that'll be a part of the healthcare program if you want that book. It'll be an update to the Healing Thyself book, detailing you with everything that you need with the meals inside of it. Just like we have Healing Thyself. If you bought that book, you know, we got, you know, hundreds of recipes in there, but we're going to update it to fit nationals who use the program for healthcare. But we have the Art and Science of Perfect Genetics, teaches you about genetics, teaches you about things that you learn wrong in nutrition, things you learn about raw foods. Oh, I'm just going to eat raw foods and I'm about to get healthy. You could possibly make yourself sick. Because there are anti-nutrients in vegetation. Phytates, which you can find in nuts, all right? phytic acid, phytoestrogens, which are foods that are primarily for women and not for men. So when you have foods that are like chickpeas, we might eat them sometimes, but men should not eat a lot of chickpeas because that's a phytoestrogen. Now, what you can do is something very simple, is when you are cooking these foods, it disables those molecules. So you're only gonna get the basic 3 nutrients from those things: vitamins, minerals, and amino acids. But when you're eating raw food, they soaking it and they eating the chickpeas raw but soaked, and they're soft. You can chew them and eat them. But if you're a male, now that is affecting your prostate. Over my years of dealing with health people, you do not know how many vegetarians and vegans came to me very sick, and they're trying to figure out, man, I'm following Dr. Sebi program, I'm doing this, why am I sick? And I'm saying, you're not using food science, you're using a food ideology and belief system. And that's hard for people. It's really hard because of how our minds have been fashioned. It's like a commercial. Oh, that gotta work because so-and-so said it healed that person of this. And it's like, you need to dig a little bit deeper. Because advertising in the world that we live in, to have you buying into something that is not valuable, or that the value is not consistent. Okay. Advanced Guide to Weight Loss and Weight Gain. Excellent book. If you don't want to buy that book and you end up getting on the healthcare plan, that information will be in Perfect Nutrition. What we're basically doing is we have literature here that you can use, but we're going to have a master book that's only for nationals that they can get, and only nationals will get. You're not going to be able to copy it or give it to other people. And it will cover the things that you need for your nutrition. And to give you an example of some of these things, let's see. Like, okay, these are vitamins. You get taught about 13 of these, but there are 3 that you don't get taught about: B17, choline, and carnitine. Choline and carnitine you get taught about sometimes, but they're not even considered vitamins by some experts, but they are. The functions are just like vitamins. So you need all of these vitamins in you to function properly. So you need, unlike minerals, plants can make vitamins. Plants cannot make minerals. They can only absorb minerals. If the minerals aren't in the soil, they're not going to be in the plant. But plants can make their own vitamins, and your body makes a lot of these vitamins naturally when you are in the sun. It's not only vitamin D3, your liver can make vitamin C from sunlight exposure. All right, so we need to learn our own anatomies and physiologies. They don't tell you about vitamin B17. Vitamin B17 is another vitamin like vitamin B3 that is a DNA repair agent. All right, you can get that vitamin from apricot seeds. And what is it going to do? If you have cancers in your body, it's literally going to auto-correct the mutations. So by getting all of these things in to your body, or knowing how to get them in, you are literally going to be disease-free your whole life, which is the goal of ARNA. The goal of ARNA is not for you, to be stuck buying herbs, and no, your home has to become your fortress where everything is in it, or if it's not everything that is in it, your other national next to you in your neighborhood or in your local jurisdiction, they have it. And we all exchanging these particular things. You might have somebody who grows the food. Somebody over here might be an engineer. You need your house built. This person got the company. You need your body taken care of. They got the supplements. And everybody has a baseline understanding of all of it, even if they're not performing it as a business. They have a baseline understanding, so they're not ignorant. So now, you know, the construction engineer, neither the doctor can get over on you. Because you have a fundamental understanding of, okay, I understand these things. We've been taught these things. This is how you build a healthy society. Everybody has a baseline of being informed. How you get a society like the United States of America is ignorant people who are easily scammed. Because some people are doing this to information. They're holding it. They got it in the headlock. They don't want to share, you know, the details of it. They just create a lot of hype behind it and then tell you to buy something. No, learn, participate, produce, become functional. Because we are the new leaders. We are the critical mass of people who are studying detailed information in think tanks as groups, sharing it amongst ourselves, experimenting with it, and getting the results. And I challenge you to find one group of Black people who are doing it on the land that we're, just one, at a high level of efficiency. They could have some knowledge. You know, I've been in the Nation of Islam. You got How to Eat to Live, but the book needs updated. Because if you're going to drink milk, you're going to have a problem. And we love the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's the messenger of Allah. But he died of an asthmatic condition. We can literally look at what the problem was. And some people don't like having those types of conversations if they are FOI or MGT, but we're scientists. This doesn't take away from anybody's love for a particular person. It actually improves it because, you know, the ones who come before us lay a base for us, and then they're there for us to study. This is how we make improvements. When our children come along and they look at ARNA, they'll be like, oh yeah, y'all just doing good, but we're gonna fix that. That's what they're supposed to do. So we're in a very healthy space where we can look at these things, you know, and know these are exact 16 vitamins that you absolutely need for your body to function. And each one of these works together or works independently to do something in the body that you have to have done. Okay. So those things are ultra important. Then you have this. So this is how I deal with people who deal with food ideologies. You might have someone to come to you that's plant-based, and they say, well, yeah, I'm plant-based. I've been plant-based for 10 years, whatever, boom, 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 boom. And then I say, okay, I have a question for you. How's your eyesight? Do you have recurrent colds every now and then, maybe a few times a year? Is your hair, let's say you're a woman, is your hair growing properly? Oh, it's not. My hair got alopecia or something's going on. You know why? Because you are not getting enough fat in your body. And these 4 vitamins are fat-soluble vitamins. Meaning you have to get these with lipids. If it's in a supplement, I'll give an example. Somebody could give you a pill for vitamin D3. Not gonna work unless that pill has a gel tab that is inside of fats. It's made of lipids. They do that, then okay, you got something going on. If it's not that, you got a problem. Because vitamin D3 as a supplement has to be tinctured in fat. coconut oil, olive oil, whatever it may be, has to be there to be dissolvable into the body. Otherwise, you're not going to dissolve it. And so now I can come to you on your plant-based diet and say, oh, this is why your eyes are not functioning right, the vitamin A not being absorbed properly, vitamin D not being absorbed properly. Maybe you're having some skin issues, discoloration, whatever, because you're not getting enough fats in your body. And now your skin is erupting with all of these problems. You're saying, what's wrong with my skin? What's wrong with my skin? Something as simple as knowing science and knowing that this has to be inside of a lipid to be digestible. Because vitamin D3 is all the way under the subcutaneous layers of the skin. There is something called dihydroxycholesterol, 7-dihydroxycholesterol, that the sun strikes to start making the hormone that becomes vitamin D3 or hormone D3. It's called cholecalciferol. And if the sun is not striking those fats, it cannot make vitamin D3. So vitamin D3 starts this process out even from the sun by the sun photons engaging a fat in under the layers of the skin. So you can't digest or synthesize or have healthy amounts of vitamin D3, E, K, A, and I meant to say B17 too, without lipids or fats. And then you have water-soluble vitamins. So if you're dehydrated or not getting enough hydration or overhydrating yourself, you will urinate all the vitamins out. I need to drink my gallon of water today, A gallon of water in one day, unless you are a high-performance athlete, that is too much. Now, if you professional football player, college football player, a basketball player running up and down the court, boom, cool. Yeah, you're sweating a lot. You're losing a lot of water. Replenish the water. But if you're not, you're just working a regular job, but somebody told you to drink a gallon of water today, you're overhydrating yourself. And now your minerals and nutrients are just leaving the body. So we have to know the things that what we're talking about in order to maintain good health. And you will feel it, right? You will feel it. It won't be guesswork. You will feel it. You will look like health. That's one of the things I get on people always is, look at the person that's coming to teach you about health. No, look at them. Because if they don't look like health, the aesthetic is important. You can't come to me and all of your teeth are missing and you're teaching me to maintain healthy bones.
No more. He's gone.
Dad did it again. Not reality.
They're gone. You don't gotta do this too much.
And people have all types of beliefs about it. This is guided by science and nothing else. And science just means to know based on experiment. Every other thing is guesswork. All right. So let's go back. Malnutrition causes health problems, emotional instabilities. Your emotions are chemicals. I'm going to say that one more time. Your emotions are chemicals. They're not things floating around. It's perception, triggers, chemicals, triggers the behavior. Or chemical intake, behavior just impulsively comes out. This is how people are controlled, literally like robots. I often mention the book, I don't have it here, it's called Molecules of Emotions. Please get the book as accessory study. Molecules of Emotions. It will help you understand that emotions are chemicals. When someone has a repeat of certain types of emotions that have become habitual. You can follow that through their neurology. You can follow that through their intake of certain things. You'll see it. And so we need to understand that even having health problems causes emotional instabilities. You might be ashamed that you have diabetes, type 1 or type 2, and you don't know what to do. You might be ashamed that you have erectile dysfunction. Your wife or your lady is like, yeah, what's wrong with you? And then it depletes your confidence, and then you might be ashamed you have fibroids and your husband wants to have a child. You can't have a child because your uterus is fibroids. This is why we need to maintain health, because health actually builds our confidence. All right. You might feel like, oh, why can't my hair grow? Your hair is not growing like you want it to because you are not implementing the science of helping it grow. So aesthetic unpleasantries, I put that there for a reason. Aesthetic unpleasantries are you looking at yourself, maybe not even consciously all the time, sometimes subconsciously, but sometimes consciously, and saying, I don't like the way I look right here. And I don't know what to do. So I don't feel good about that. Imagine being able to answer every question about how you look, how you feel. Oh, my energy is low? Why is my energy low? Let me look through these things of what I'm doing. Oh, my energy is low because I'm not getting enough vitamin B3, which turns into several different compounds, which leads to NADH, which becomes the whole ATP cycle again. All right. I have a gut and my wife doesn't like it, and I don't know how to lose it. Or I feel bad about my gut. Or I'm atrophied. I'm so skinny, I can't gain weight. And I'm a man. I'm not the only man on here, but I'm going to tell you that your man wants you to have some form. Nature designed it that way to build attraction. That's natural. It's not going to create competition if you're healthy. It just means or maybe you feel like I'm overweight. I don't know how to lose the weight. I feel really bad about myself. No one has to, in our circle, no one has to experience this emotional turmoil, the low self-esteem, the fronting and acting. Like nobody has to do any of that. This is why by sharing and by having a high quality of knowledge, we can undo a lot of problems that other people are facing, or that some of us are facing, that we feel like we don't have answers to. I'm underweight. Okay, are you getting your 22 carboxylic acids in on a regular basis, 2 to 3 times a week? Are you getting your vitamins and minerals in? Are you doing your walks and your basic levels of exercise, staying hydrated? Are you doing those things? All right. So this book right here, I'll use an example from this book. Because this is the type, we understand not only just the information, but the psychology behind the information. So don't laugh at what I'm about to show you. This is a chapter. This is chapter 3. It's called Vegan Trends Took My Ass. Formulas to Get It Back. All right. So if you look, we have Becky on the left and we have our sister on the right, right? And I've had women come to me and say that, bruh, I went on Dr. Sebi's diet and I completely lost everything. My breasts are gone. And that is what you call DNA methylation and DNA demethylation. And there are foods that you can eat to turn on or turn off genes. And women have more of something called BAT, brown adipose tissue. It is natural for you to have it. It collects around the breast, around the hips, all right? And this is for you and your child, literally, or potential children that you will have. And it's literally for aesthetics, right? To maintain, nature gives us aesthetics. Aesthetics is how something looks and attraction. Nature gives us aesthetics between man and woman for the survival of the species. If we stop being attracted to one another, then we're going to have a big problem. Attraction brings sex. Sex produces children. That's what nature wants us to do. Of course, we learn the refinement of that process, and we learn about, okay, marriage. Marriage is not a concept of nature. Marriage is a concept of humans who have refined the concept of men and women having a relationship. Marriage is humans saying, wow, over a long period of time, we have witnessed that when men and women stay together, it's healthy for the children. It's healthy for the unit. It creates stability. Let's create this thing called marriage. Okay, great. But marriage still requires nature, which is sex and sexual reproduction. So the aesthetic keeps the attraction. What happens when men go through erectile dysfunction, have fat stomachs, are balding early, and can't please their women? Confusion. What happens when women are not maintaining a healthy body, a beautiful body that's aesthetically attractive to men? Men start sleeping with men. It gets weird. Now, men want to be women. Women want to be men. All of this, all of it is poor nutrition and more, because we have beings who are not fully human now. I hate to say it, but this is just it. They're not fully human. So now that they have other things in them and we're admixturing with them, we're picking up those things. This can turn out to be a bad movie if we don't step in, ground ourselves, and say, okay, what do we need? Who are we? Let's get those things in our bodies and let's rebuild the natural way this thing is supposed to be. So we can chart in human behavior psychology a lot of problems that really originate with how aware are we of what we need to keep our temples healthy. Because the closer we get to that knowledge, we start canceling out a whole lot of other problems. And that's where we want to be. We want to be in healthy families, healthy people. The end. That's literally what ARNA is. ARNA is nothing else but that. And as long as we keep that, we'll be fine. All right, so let's keep going. Just some ideas for you. Now, what we want to do programmatically, and this is a program that's going to grow. What do I mean by that? We're going to start a healthcare system in ARNA where you can get supplements and the material that you need. And then over time, we want to grow those healthcare systems to not be national, but to be local. Meaning, you have a ministry of health in your local jurisdiction. Your local jurisdiction will carry out the healthcare program for all the local nationals. And that will consist of agriculture, proper foods, grocery store, and supplements. That's a long-range plan that can be implemented now that we have exactly what we need. And so what would that look like? That will look like every summit. We're gonna start this at the summit, but every annual period or whatever fiscal period, you will pay into the local Aboriginal Medical Association, and every period, 2 months or whatever, they deliver to you your supplements. You don't have to go to GNC, don't have to go to Whole Foods, don't have to go any of these places. And you have ARNA doctors making them, ARNA doctors supplying them. See how this works? Everybody is taken care of. Right now, you get healthcare, and it's complete chaos. Being poisoned, 1. 2, services not being available. And 3, things that you're taking causing the need for more services. It's a hustle. It's a scam. We want to end that scam. So what we're going to do at the summit, let's go through some of this. What we're going to do at the summit this year, and in the fiscal period from November to December, if people want to participate, we'll have 2 periods where people can participate in the healthcare program. And we'll have it formatted. So after running it for a year or 2, as local jurisdictions build, we could just take the program, export it to the Minister of Health in so-and-so, in Tallahassee, in Charlotte, in Atlanta, in Houston, in Dallas, in wherever you are. Then after we export that program there, everybody there knows how to function and gets everything that they need. And what comes with it is also the structure for the institutions. Yes, we have people who know how to farm. Yes, we have people who know how to orchestrate a farmer's market. We ran one here in Atlanta. Yes, we have all of these things that we've done as templates to lay for later. So this is a semblance of what we're talking about. All right, let's say you want to get Synergy, Vitamin, Vital D, Nutriplex, and Megaleaf, which covers most of the epigenetic medicine that you need, and plus the Perfect Nutrition book guide, and 1 free annual scan. You would pay $600 into a fund, and that covers you for all of that, those 6 shipments, your free annual health scan to make sure that you're all right, and any highlighting emergencies, which you shouldn't have emergencies, but it may come up. Something may come up where you need it, right? And this is just an example of what we're talking about. So this will give us national medicine. Now, I said something a while ago, and this was just in an open lecture, but it's for us to understand how indigenous classical civilizations were able to make progress. And this is a new way of governing ourselves. So keep this in mind. 1, we don't need competition amongst us. We need creativity and productivity. We can have competition, but it has to be based on particular types of achievement. Meaning, if we're all competing to gather the greatest amount of information about the genetic code, that's a healthy competition. Because now we're trying to figure out things that is going to be put into data that's going to go back and be fed back to the whole community. So we might be producing and planning children, some women who are scientists, because we know how to do that now. And then these scientists are popping out and they're doing all this brilliant work, generation after generation after generation. Each one just keeps piling up and making more functional things under our own jurisdiction. That's the key. Because when you do it under somebody else's jurisdiction, somebody else gets the patents, somebody else gets the business from it, and you just get a plaque, a Nobel Peace Prize. But the wealth of it does not stay in the family, right? It does not benefit overall, because now you implement scientific racism, and then the people who are paying the scientists can say, oh yeah, we want that out, but we don't want that out. No, we're not about to do that. We're about to produce children generationally that can solve problems in 12 departments. And we already got the 12 departments laid out. And as that goes on, what is happening with your governmental structure? The governmental structure is an automatic problem-solving mechanism. And then when you reduce, the more you reduce problems, the more time you have to create. If you got 1,000 problems and 100 solutions, you're in deficit. If you got 50 problems, all that get solved, now you have no time to do anything but continue to create, evaluate. This is how we have to see what we're doing. That will make it healthy. Literally make it healthy. Right now, we live in systems where people fight over money. They do surgeries to get, my body looks better than yours. Doctors have knowledge that patients don't have. All of these things are functioning in a very dysfunctional manner, and this creates all of these weird types of things. Oh, her hair is longer than mine, my hair is shorter. Let me go get a wig. Let me go get a weave so I can compete with her. You see how silly this gets because of a lack of a proper education or an educational model that can help you. We want to get to the point where we don't need money. Because we know what money is. What is money? Money is harnessed energy directed to a purpose to exchange. That's all it is. No matter who's making it, Federal Reserve, Bank of Russia, even if it's indigenous money. We're going to have money and create our own banks at some point, but eventually over time, we won't need those things over generations because we will understand the concept. And the human concept is every human being that's planned has a greater ability to add on to their community in a functional way. And in doing so, we are solving our own problem over and over and over again. Anybody who's ever been in a creative space for a long period of time, where you didn't have to worry about your bills, other responsibilities that sometimes pull you away from it, that's heaven. So when we had civilizations that were very healthy, optimally healthy, this is what we were doing. Otherwise, this jurist is going to try to compete with this jurist, this doctor is going to try to compete with this doctor, this and it becomes craziness. That's why we still in ARNA have problems to this day, because we're still working on an old model. We're gradually walking ourselves out of it, but we're working on an old model. And we have to grow, study, talk to each other so that we learn what we're here to do. Yes, we're here to clear our debts. Yes, we're here to make sure that we know how to operate our tax exemption. Yes, we're here to do all of these wonderful things that we've learned to improve our immediate circumstances, because that is important. But we're also here to study and implement something that's better. And how do we do that? We talk to each other, we share information, we share knowledge. If we have 1,000 doctors that know how to make Synergy, make Vitamin D, make Nutriplex, make Megaleaf, and we're doing it all across the country, and the local jurisdiction has staffing, production, etc. Problem solved. Until then, we can finesse our way into our own unique products. There's nothing wrong with that. We still have the same baseline. As ARNA doctors, we understand the same things. So yours is named this and mine is named this. That's cool. We're gonna move ourselves along, but as we go further down the line into thinking about our children and our children's children, we have to put together a culture. That's what we're doing, essentially. All right. So when we look at, I want to go to a slide, but I want to make sure I go to the right one. This is a good example. All right. So white people have patented melanin. Now you might look at it and say, oh man, what are they doing, man? Look, you have to understand, we didn't make a way for them naturally to make it yet. So they're using their technique, and I'm not mad at them. I'm actually happy for them, because what they're saying is we recognize the fact that we need this substance in our bodies, not just for the aesthetics of it, but what it actually does. Melanin is a huge part of your immune system. Huge. Melanin plays a key role in DNA repair. So this guy, John Powlett, created melanin. Now, this is what you call problem solving in their jurisdiction. But I'm just giving you the idea to see, like, look. And then what does it do? This is what it does. Now, if they get it right, the person on the right is healthier than the person on the left. It's happening, right? So what if one of our doctors comes up with the methodology to do this in a safer way? Boom. Got a whole lot of customers. You follow me? So what we are trying to say is we can look at throughout the demographic in society, see what the market is saying. These are medicines that are now being given to people. This is old information. I first pulled this slide out when I was doing a lecture series with Minister Inky back in 2012. It's 2022. It's 10 years later. So, and you can see the date on this. 2003. So it was already 9 years old when I got it. And now it's almost 20 years old. What advances do you think have been made? Some of them are public, some of them may not be. So when I talk about transhumanism and avatar type stuff, understand it is not a myth. This is why we have to work on the basics and go right back to it. And that is getting ourselves healthier. Literally. In order to keep up, in order to be intelligent enough to keep up, in order to evade man-made viruses and pandemics and all these other things, we have to learn our nutrition. And so the job of the Aboriginal Medical Association is to help with that process. And it all goes back to rites of passage, 23 people out of hundreds. Even if you weren't able to do it Saturday, Sunday, or another day, that's less than 10% of the people being functional, which is cool. We go with whatever numbers we have. But do you understand what we're saying here? This is how you either create dysfunction or function in a society. Because as soon as you inject opinion where science is supposed to be, then you have sick people. Because the average person doesn't know they absolutely need all 28 of those minerals. They absolutely need all 16 of those vitamins, and they absolutely need all 22 of those carboxylic acids to be emotionally stable, healthy, the proper weight, healthy heart, brain, liver. They don't know that. They just think, oh, I'm just gonna go plant-based. Oh, I'm gonna go vegan. Oh, I'll just be a keto. Oh, I'll just go raw foods. Oh, I'll just, and each one of those things is like saying, oh, I'll be a Christian. Oh, I'll practice voodoo. Oh, I'll be a Muslim. Oh, I'll be beliefs, which are fine if they are supported that are by a culture that has evidentiary science to back it up. But when it's not there, then all kinds of get a TD Jakes, a Creflo Dollar, scholars in Mecca, somebody in Nigeria saying that they're going to show you. You know, this stuff can get really wacky. And I just want you all to see it, because we are participating in a self-initiated experiment to prove ourselves right first, then to take it to the rest of the world. It's like, oh, this stuff works, bro. This works. We're not guessing. We all did it. We all do it. We all exercise. We all are doing these things. We all can perform. We all are doing these things. And we are the evidence. Look at us. Which means that we should be the most aesthetically pleasing people. That's also a healthy thing. They shouldn't look at people in ARNA and be like, damn, them niggas fat as hell. Damn, you see them niggas in ARNA? They looking ashy. Oh, they shouldn't. People like, oh, they look bright, healthy. When I first came into the Nation of Islam, that was one of the things that stood out, because, you know, people at that time, people were eating the diet. And the one thing that you recognize instantly on someone who was in the mosque is their face glowing. And it wasn't because of Vaseline or coconut oil. It was because of health. A health, youthful appearance, you know, healthy. And that is attractive. So we can't be walking around with our flag and saying all this stuff, and then we looking around like, bro, you looking real ashy right now. You're not representing the tribe. Or sis, you know, why are you 300 pounds? Let's help you out. Let's hold your hand, and we're going to walk you through the things that will help you get back to your best self. And these are literally the things I'm showing them to you right now. It's really not excessively complicated. When you start looking at data and what these things do, it can get complicated. Because if you start wondering, okay, what are the epigenetic effects of all 28 minerals, 16 vitamins, 22 carboxylic acids on the human body? Then you're getting into technical parts that will lead to doctors and people who are, you know, engaged in that particular study. But knowing that you need these particular things, that's not that difficult. So that is the crust of what we wanted to lay as a base for our discussion today. And then when we start growing foods like this, as opposed to unhealthy foods, like I can go into every Whole Foods in the United States of America, and they have the same spinach. All of them. One lineage is called Savoy. And Savoy spinach has E. coli in it that's carrying enterobacter. And what is that going to do? That genetically modified spinach steals your iron, and people go get spinach to get iron because natural spinach is usually high in iron. Imagine that. You're going to get something to help you with iron, and it's taking your iron away, literally. There's a whole process detail on how enterobacterium, which lives within E. coli, steals iron. And then you say, well, I'm vegan, but I'm anemic. And I said, well, you do use, yeah, I do a spinach smoothie every day. Toxic. But I can take it to a farmer's market and you get Malabar spinach, cello spinach, all these other varieties, organic, meaning that there's no pesticides used. And now you start saying, well, whoa, is there a food war going on? Absolutely. And if there's a food war and you eat, you're in the war. And we're not designed to be breatharians, so quit reading all these spooky books. Because the reason why you have a stomach and intestines is because you were designed to eat. If you were born with just lungs, go right ahead and be a breatharian. Just use your common sense. So now you can go to a restaurant and you can say, oh, yeah, I eat healthy. But every restaurant that you go to, if they're not saying their food is organic, then they're using pesticides. So you went to a vegan pesticide fest and you're wondering why you have a problem. I go to this restaurant every week. I don't know why I have stones or something going on inside my body. It's because you're eating inorganic food. And you're saying, I go to the grocery store. I don't care about buying organic. You don't care about your health. Because you are intaking glyphosate, pesticides that will cause you problems. So that's just a matter of education. I used to go back and forth with Dr. Africa over that. We don't need organic foods. I just asked that, what are organic foods? Organic is a term that really doesn't mean anything. Actually, it does. It's the ratio of nitrogen to carbon used in the fertilizers and whether or not there are pesticides accompanying that. So use more carbon ratio in the soil, you're going to hold more minerals. The plant's immune system is going to be healthier. You inject more nitrogen in fertilizer into the soils, you're going to neutralize uptake of water, minerals like iron, because of how nitrogen interacts with those, weaken the plant's immune system. So now pests come to plants with weak immune systems. So this is a part of understanding some of the things that we teach in ARNA, right? Weaken the plant, pests come. Strong plants, pests don't even come because the plants have immune system and create enzymes that can kill the plant, kill the insect. Unless it's like a bee or something, where they've been interacting for thousands of years and you just got pollination going on so we can actually get the plant to grow. But we need to be aware of these things. As great as Dr. Africa was, as outstanding of a teacher as he is, him not knowing that small thing can cause a problem. Because if you look to him as a guide and there's a deficiency in that level of knowledge, then now you believe what he says because you don't study what he studies. And this is how you create a problem. This is why even when they were alive, Dr. Sabi and others, and I talked to them personally, so nobody can tell me this, the whole issue was building institutions. And the institution retains the information when the person is retired or dead, no longer here with us. But if you're here to just do lectures and collect money, you'll leave the people confused. And so this is the difference between what we're doing and what other people are doing. We're all sharing the information. And it's an orientation now to your governance, how you govern yourself. So everybody who eats at restaurant, you need to know to ask that restaurant whether or not they use pesticides in their food. Because they're always gonna go for the low end, inventory to save themselves money. So they don't care if it's Savoy spinach or Malabar. They're like, man, I don't care about that. Matter of fact, the Savoy is cheaper. everybody in our community needs to know this because we all eat at restaurants and we all want to maintain our health. And so the whole healthcare idea is educate the nationals, teach them what is healthy, what is not. You know, if you're using flax seeds in your nutrition as a woman or a man, that's terrible. Don't even use it in hair products. It's popular. Flax seeds are very popular in women's health, hair health, right? At the same time that you're using whatever other chemicals to help your hair grow, you're getting the toxic effects of what flaxseed does because of the increased levels of aromatase. So your locks might be down to the floor, but you got a severe attitude problem. And you don't know why. Because your estradiol is always high. This means you're always in kind of the biochemistry of PMS mode. Let's call it that. And it's like, well, she's healthy. Why are healthy people crazy? You know, she needs some consultation. He needs some consultation. All right, men, we should be muscular. Literally, every man should be muscular. And if you are not taking your supplements, you're not going to be. Nobody's telling you to be Hulk Hogan, but you should be physically strong. You are a man. That's what the hormone testosterone is made to do. But if you like fried tofu and you sneak in and eating it every so often, you know, we got to strengthen you, help you get stronger, and aware of what that's doing to your hormonal system. Okay. Jada Pinkett, Will Smith. I'm sorry to say, as a practitioner of what I practice, I can look at them physically and see the problem. She has excess DHT, which is causing her alopecia, and he has an estrogen, what we call an estrogen face. So there's going to be problems there. That's why she can go on Oprah and say that he has sex with her like a girl, like he's a girl. That's an abusive statement on a very public forum, right? That will later cause him to be like, I am a man. What? Let me go smack my homie to prove my manhood. That is not how you prove your manhood. If you're outside and you with your wife and you walk up and slap a man and he shoots you and he's standing his ground, now you're dead and your family is left without a father and a husband. It's called intelligence. And then she comes out and says, I didn't never even need him to protect me. You see how this goes? It's craziness. Hormonal instability, problems in a relationship between the masculinity and the femininity. Biochemically, it's present. You can see it. It erupts into behavioral dysfunction. Imagine if both of those had relatively healthy hormone systems. It would be a whole different dynamic. So don't tell us that your nutrition is unimportant, because poor nutrition over long periods of time can lead to that moment, can lead to female alopecia, can lead to problems. So we need to study these things. We need to be aware of these things. And this is what we're doing. So I'm gonna, let's see. I think I covered everything so far. I'm gonna take some Q&A. Yes, I did. All right, we're in Q&A mode now. Let me come off of this. Because I didn't want to be long, but before we go in Q&A mode, just some announcements. We only have 2 more classes, two more classes before our exam. The exam will be based on these 6 videos. It is an open video exam, so you'll be able to use the videos to answer. It won't be difficult. The test is only 30 questions, and it's true and false, multiple choice, and it will stand as the national testing. So now, from now on, new nationals will come in, have to watch these 6 videos, take the test, then they can come in. That is going to put us in a position to make sure that we're getting high quality people with the patience to do the work, to complete it before they come in, which means they'll be informed, they'll know about nationality processes, they'll know about the health, they'll know about the cosmology, they'll know about all these basic features. And with that being said, they'll know where they need help at, where they don't need help at, and they have a firm foundation in what they're about to participate in. Because a lot of the issues that come up is because people are racing for this and that. And sometimes, nationalizing is not what they need to do. Maybe they just need some problems with their IRS issue. Maybe they just need some credit problem. They don't have to become a part of what we are a part of to do that. So we want to limit the level of ignorant people who want to come in ignorant and stay ignorant, because you will not be able to pass the test if you are ignorant, because you will have to watch the videos in order to participate. And it's not going to be super complex, but it will require your attention. And that is the most important thing that we could do with these coming updates, is to create that environment where we are getting the most healthy people into our jurisdiction. We do not want scammers, other people who are, just here to do whatever they're here to do, other than be their best self in what we're doing. That's just not going to cut it. And because of our rate of activity that's about to increase, anyone who has study history, Black Panthers, that's my mom trying to call me. Anyone who has been around Black Panthers, Nation of Islam, UNIA, Moorish Scientific of America, whatever, they all have been exposed to counterintelligence programming. All. Anytime we try to do something, come together, they're going to send agents in, they're going to do all of that. The healthier, more informed we are, those people will stick out. Because some things you just can't fake. You can't. And so we are doing ourselves a great service by increasing our overall health, because it is a natural immune defense against the people who want to come in here and divert us away from our vision, our focus as a group and as individuals. That's our duty, to set up the structure for that. And this is what this is. All right. So I'm going to take some questions. We have 2 more weeks. I know there's a lot that's going on. I just looked at my phone and we got trial updates and all kinds of stuff. So I get prepared for that. But many internal trials. We have trials in ARNA. We have the Drill Society, and I'm seeing notices of updates and reschedulings and stuff. So I know I have to deal with that probably tomorrow or whatever. And there's other people who may haven't have had a jurist assigned to a particular task. We're just trying to get through this particular period. And once we close this rites of passage stuff out, we could do a lot more at a higher rate of speed. But the floor is open for questions, so we can get the questions answered, and so I can get out of here and go to my next order of business.
Yes. Hi, Chief Ali. This is Natalie. How are you doing, sir?
All right, so I think you might have to unmute yourself to talk.
I did. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, great, great. 2 questions. One is, you can't hear me?
Nope. Let me make
It's
sure.
coming in for me. I can hear her pretty clear.
Yes. Hey, how you doing?
Hold on. Let me make sure these functions are right.
Because everything is looking good on my side. I even see my microphone moving as I'm speaking. Well, I can ask the question and then Ken can tell you the question. How about that?
She just asked, if she asked the question, can I just speak
Yeah,
on it?
I can't hear Ken either.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I
Oh,
unmuted
wow.
everybody.
Oh, okay.
So he's not hearing you either.
Can you hear me, Dr. Ali?
I can hear you, sure.
Still
Sure.
can't hear you.
I can hear you. Hi.
I cannot hear you.
Wow.
Can you
Well,
hear
I
me?
think-
Ken?
Let me take this.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, fam. I can hear you.
Yeah, basically you have to unmute yourself. I got it so that everybody can unmute themselves who asked the question.
Okay, can you hear me now, Chief Ali? No?
Type it in the chat.
Okay, I put in the chat. I'm gonna put another one in the chat.
Let me go to, you're unmuted now.
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Maybe I'm connected to something and I can't.
Peace,
my
peace,
output.
peace.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Because I was doing some studio
Yes.
work, so my output. All right, let's see. We should be good now if you're unmuted.
All right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Still not hearing.
Oh my God. So I'm gonna type it in. Speak. Oh, speak about.
Go back to my sound 1 second. Let me make sure that nothing.
Testing, testing.
Oh,
All right, so everyone should be there. I have no idea what's going on.
Still nothing?
I'm
Still nothing?
unmuted on several different things, and I'm looking at your mics and your cameras, and they're unmuted. But for some reason, the sound is not coming
It
through.
has to be you, Chief, because I can hear everybody. Everybody can hear
Okay.
everybody.
I know what happened. I had my little MIDI Steinberg plugged in. I had some production, audio production stuff hooked up. All right, I can hear you now.
oh, I can hear you loud. Can you? So you can hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, just two questions. One is, could you explain how to do the Manuka honey fast? Because I want to try that out
Yes.
for 3 days, and the amount of water and all that good stuff. And also, heirloom spinach. Does that make a difference? And that is an heirloom for the toxicity of it?
Well, heirloom simply means that farmers have been cultivating it over generations. It doesn't tell what the species is of the spinach. You're evading genetic modification. And most likely you could be evading pesticides, but there's some heirlooms that can have pesticides added to it, unfortunately.
Well, I go to farmer's market. I get this. I only shop from the organic farmers at the farmer's market.
Okay, yeah, so you're fine. Yeah, heirloom just deals with this farmer who has it, got it from their parents and their parents, down the line. So the 3-day fast. So I was going to start doing it this month as a national fast, kind of like if they want to do it, but you can do it at any time. The 3-day fast is best served when you're not active if you haven't done this before.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think that you're going to be in a lot of high rate activity, if it's your first time, don't do it. Then do it when you're home, just relaxing or whatever. Maybe from a Friday to a Sunday, but Thursday night, which is Friday, Saturday, then Sunday you eat. So 3 days, 72 hours. Some people will have to work their way to this, and what I mean by that is Let's say maybe the 2 days before, you want to eat
Oh.
very light, soups, salads, that kind of thing.
Yes, 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 yes.
To prepare yourself for it if you've never done it before. So 2 days prior, you want to eat very light. You don't want to be eating bison before you do the fast.
I don't eat meat, and I've done many fasts. I even did like a 45-day fast back in the day. So
Okay, so you're good. All right, so what this fast is designed to do, first of all, is designed to really detox you and really rejuvenate you. So that only requires 3 days. People fast too long. So what's happening in this 3 days is you're only intaking the lime or lemon mixture with the proper grade of Manuka honey. And it's designed for DNA repair.
Okay.
So there's 3 epigenetic signaling things in the Manuka honey that help with that. And then the lime and the lemon is going to clean your digestive tract.
Okay.
The lining of it, the mucous membrane of it. Lime and lemon are acid, but they're let's call them functional acids. They're not going to tear through a membrane like alcohol, but they will clean the membrane, and that is what you need in order to do 2 things. One, you're going to get a whole bunch of plaque that's there from stuff that you ate, and it's going to increase absorption. All right. And 2 is going to improve your immune system, because in the lining of your digestive tract, you have these cells called epithelial cells, which all around them are antibodies when they're not being suffocated, And so it's going to improve your immune system for repair or whatever. So usually that the immune antibodies and cells are attacking pathogens that are in the food, because you do have pathogens naturally in food. Even in the supermarket, there's still bacteria, other things that are there. So a part of your digestion is your immune system attacking pathogens. But when you're not eating, now those things can now go and help repair parts of the body that are injured.
Yes.
Tissues, etc. So what you want to do is, let's say if you do it from Thursday to Sunday, have your last meal on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
When you wake up, you want to hydrate yourself. So you're going to make a concoction. You can take 1 quart of organic lime juice or lemon juice to 1 gallon of water. You're going to mix them.
Okay. 1 quart to 1 gallon. Okay.
Right. And then you're going to take 4 tablespoons of the Manuka honey,
Mm-hmm.
put it in the solution,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to slightly heat it, medium, for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
That's just to dissolve the honey into it so that, you can stir it or whatever. Then you can put it in a glass container. And this is going to be your food for 3 days.
Okay.
And you're basically going to, whenever you get hunger pains, feeling of it, drink it. You can drink, you can't over drink it. Okay. And you're going to do that for 3 whole days. And on the 3rd day, you're going to break your fast with some fruit, something light, watermelon, apples, whatever you're going to eat.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a salad. And then maybe you can eat a little bit more heavier foods later that day. If you, on a Sunday, some soups or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to wait at least 2 days before you eat anything really heavy.
Yeah.
So for those who do eat meat, you want to not eat meat 2 days before or 2 days after. And that's it. And during that time period, of course, there's a lot that you can do spiritually. We have the 3 meditations that we do at sunrise, noon, and sunset.
Mm-hmm.
And we do them during Ramadan. So if you've done it during Ramadan, you know that the sunrise meditation is for visualization of things you want to manifest.
Mm-hmm.
The noon meditation is for things you want to balance.
Yeah.
And the sunset meditation is for things you want to get rid of. And so you can do those, along with the breathing techniques. Be creative during the time period. plans that you have. You have more time. You won't be eating and losing energy. Or sometimes you just feel like you want to sleep. That happens to a lot of people who haven't fasted. You feel sleepy. And what you should do is go to sleep because your body is telling you, okay, you're detoxing. I'm about to go to work on you. So when you feel drowsy or tired, go right to sleep. Some people like to exercise during those time periods because fasted exercise is really healthy. You take your bad body fat, your visceral fat down, improve the circulation to the muscles, nutrients to the muscles. You don't want to overdo it, of course, because you're not eating. But yeah, you can exercise as well. So 3 days, you want to make that substance, and you want to monitor yourself. If you get the chills, shakes, or something like that, you might want to curb the fast by taking in a smoothie with some dark berries and mangoes or something like that, maybe coconut milk, because you have to pace yourself. And for the first time, you might not be in the ability to make it. So add some smoothies to it. That's going to give you something that's pre-digested, fruit, add a little coconut milk, something to it, and make it through. And then the next time you do it, try to make it through all with the solution,
Laxatives during this time.
I don't recommend laxatives.
No smooth move teas or anything like that. Completely just wash.
I don't think that you need them because of what those do. What you're taking in is going to do that.
It's going to do that. Okay, got you. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't need any cayenne in that solution anymore.
Oh yeah, I that's what I didn't mention. I forgot to mention the.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. Thanks.
Cayenne pepper. The cayenne pepper works with the lemon to help cleanse the mucous membrane. So yeah, so you want to add it, and for the gallon, you only want to add 1 teaspoon. It's going to make it hot. If you want to add less, you can add less, but you don't want to go over a teaspoon.
A teaspoon of the cayenne pepper.
Right. For people who have done this more, you can go over because some of y'all know we did this before, but for very new people, you want to limit it to that.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And so we're supposed to do, where's the phone? I don't even know where my phone is, but the last week of April, we're supposed to start the first national, let me look at it, April 29th, 30th to the 1st. So we'll have our last meal April 28th, and then we'll eat again on the 1st of May, which is a Sunday. That's going to be the first one. So we'll be passing out flyers and information to try to get not only just us to participate, but the group to do it. This is something that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad used to recommend for us in the nation. Fast for 3 days, 1 time a month, and it increases your longevity. But now just adding more detail, like literally is increasing the sirtuin genes, the longevity genes, by doing these types of fasts. Yep. All right. Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts? Any other
question?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, Chief, it's your Amy, aka Carla.
How are you doing, young lady? How are you?
I'm good. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't forgotten in the fold. I did my PT test on my own, and I was a part of that group that got sent that broken link twice. So
yeah, the link was working. It was just the push-ups that weren't. Yeah.
So
even if you submitted that and you didn't have the push-ups down, right now we're going for participation and record of going. So some people send it as an email, and some people send it as that link. Regardless of whether you did either one, yes, you're counted.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm accounted for.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. The object, is participation at this point. We're not looking for anything else but participation.
I gotta be funny about it. I'm sorry. I want a participation award, okay?
You want a participation award? Then I gotta make 20 awards.
I was going hardcore at first. Now we're doing participation awards.
Oh no, I mean it's participation as far as the record, but yeah, we still got our general times and other stuff that we laid out there, and the reps and all of that. Some people send the stuff in, they're like, yo, I couldn't do 100 push-ups, right? And that's all right. Do as many as you're able to do, and you'll reach that number and beyond.
Thank you.
Chief.
Peace, God.
I was also wanting to speak on that. Like, I actually dislocated my wrist last week, and I was still wanting to get this done over the 2-week period. Is it just for me to send in the information?
Yeah. Just email it in. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, with the injury, you wouldn't want to do push-ups or nothing like that, but.
Okay, because I can definitely handle the everything else. I just wanted to, notify.
Absolutely, family. Yeah, whatever, if you have a slight injury of some sort, be wise, take care of your body. You might, I was playing basketball, it was like a week and a half ago, I twisted my ankle. But I was able to recover because it wasn't that bad. But let's say if it would have went bad, I would just walk my mile instead of ran it, use your best judgment with all of these things, because we don't want you to injure yourself at all. We just want to promote the ideas of exercise and then to get a litmus test of where people are. So, as time goes on, we can help.
Indeed. Okay. Thanks, Chief.
Absolutely, God.
Peace, God. This is Ken.
Peace, God. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So, quick question, and I understand if because it's unprecedented in so many ways, you might not have the right answer fully, but you were right, of course, on regards of transmittance of the vaccine. You know what I mean? The way it's been, people have been kind of finding out that stuff's been able to spread and, things of that nature. How do you feel in regards of, because I haven't cut off family that's gotten it, but I've been definitely keeping my distance. You know what I mean? Do you feel like, a year or so in, I know they still got boosters from time to time, but do you think it's still a wise thing to kind of give people, distance to a degree? You think some of that might have just kind of settled?
I mean, as long as you're not exchanging fluids, then you're really not having an issue. Yeah, I mean, you want to be careful because you still don't know what they put, all of what they put into these people, our family members' body. We don't know. We know some of it, but we don't know. And so, I tell people, you just watch, even like, normal things that you might go do, go get a massage from somebody. Nope, I get no massage at no regular massage parlor where the person is vaccinated and they, that becomes, these are now danger zones now, So with family members, yeah, be careful, because unfortunately, this is still a very real thing. And see, the thing about it is, I'm glad you brought it up, because the attention span of non-marketed pandemics makes people think everything is all right. And that's a part of the plan too. Stir them up. How fast do they go to sleep? Let's watch them. Oh yeah, they go right back to sleep. And they still got boosters and still got other stuff going on, but it's like, like I said, these things can be put on a ticking time bomb. So yeah, be careful. Anybody who gets a new mate or courting somebody new, make sure you know more about the history than you would want to know in an average situation, because maybe they got a vaccine they didn't tell you. So yeah, like one of those gray areas where it's like, your spidey senses and everything got to be up, because you don't want to be around like something as simple as this. Like, this might sound very simple and crazy, but it's true. You down south, it's known that everybody grandma will give him a kiss right on, saliva right up beside the side. But what if grandma took the vaccine? You see what I'm saying? Like something as simple as a kind, hospitable, warm gesture from a grandmother can now be somewhat dangerous. Like, not to say that the saliva that she leaves on your face will lead to you being infested with bots, but
Right.
not to say that it won't either. Shit.
Right. Fact.
I don't know. So the precaution is warranted. You know, we gotta listen. You took the vaccine, better get on some of these detox because you know, y'all drew a line. They drew a line.
Right. I
Yeah,
appreciate that, guy.
yes, sir. Absolutely. Good question. You know what I mean? Because we need to be aware that that's still going on. You know, because you can fall right to sleep, and it's like, yo, Frankenstein is still out here.
Facts.
Peace, God.
Peace to God. How's my brother?
Oh,
I know you were cussing me out because you didn't. I ain't gonna say. You know, I know. I know. You know, you sent me the red alert. How you feeling though?
I'm great.
Feeling good, God?
I escaped the situation.
Yeah, man. You know, we have for a while. We gonna find a way to escape.
That's right. That's real talk.
I need to sue the hell out of whoever that was that had, you know, that situation out of hand.
I agree. I think I've been paying attention to my family members, and some of them starting to act strange,
Yeah.
real moody since they taking the vaccine. So I think that's something we need to pay attention to as nationals, our family members, and attitude swings.
Yeah, but that's real. That's real. I mean, you can guarantee that they put something in our people's body that we don't know, and we gotta witness over time. So we gotta be careful. I'm glad y'all said something. I need to do a follow-up presentation on that, do a little bit more research and do some follow-up presentation on that so that it just stays in the, you know, face of the people to be aware.
Yes, sir.
Questions?
My 2 cents in. This is Shira.
Yeah.
Hey,
How are
peace.
you? Peace.
Good. I did notice, like, I won't even bioscan people because I get headaches instantly. I keep my vaccine detox on site, but I'm not even joking you. Like, I get the headaches really quickly. And so I don't know if that's just because I've been more like isolated, but even the powwow, I'm like, how are we going to detect? And I was hearing that China has some type of device where you can like scan the head and see who's taking the vaccine or not. I don't know.
Yeah, I did see that. It was like in the news article. I was reading that. I was like, whoa, what?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of device is this? We need to get one of them joints, bro. Or several of them.
Yeah.
On that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, that might be on the AMA list. I just want to throw that in there.
Oh yeah, I forgot. They did have that article that you could detect that. That's crazy. Whew. Damn, we gotta rock out here with
It's really tough.
vaccine detectors.
Bestseller.
It's wild out here, man. Hey, our people don't know what they be doing, man. They gotta stop following white people, just period. Like, you know, trusting the said officials of government and all these other scientists and all these people. It's just we had a certain dividing point in time and space where if you still trusting that, you asking for the severe consequences that come with it.
Well, it used to be, as we used to call them, 85%ers. I'll go up to 90% now.
You say with the 90 odd, hell yeah, with the 90. They're about to go to 99.9 and it's about to be a very small amount of us.
I mean, it's real. If you don't understand who they are by now, they don't even try to hide who they are.
Nah, they bold about it.
I mean, just Tamir Rice, they murdered a 12-year-old in cold blood, and we don't even have discussions about it. Like it's a normal thing, but that's not normal.
Nah, that ain't normal. And any other community, it wouldn't be accepted as normal. You know? A Jewish person that's 12 years old gonna get killed and they forget about it. They're gonna have a damn museum, a memorial, a holiday,
And they might just blow up the neighborhood that he got killed in.
Yeah, literally. Literally. Who was I talking to? I think that was Brother Esau I was talking to. I'll bring that up later.
Chief, can you elaborate a bit on the detox for people who have taken it? I got a friend who's taken it.
Hello.
Like they felt they were actually kind of coerced in it, and they ended up kind of doing it. They was actually locked up at the time. Their little situation about how, like, in order for them to kind of like get out and giving in and taking it.
Yeah, well, what we need to do if they're taking the detox is to get somebody to do bioscans on them to look at their amino acid levels. And in particular, you want to look at, I know, but this is recorded, so I don't want to go into technical data without losing y'all, but there's a particular amino acid called methionine. And methionine has methionine enzymes that go with it. And basically, when someone takes the vaccine, that particular amino acid or carboxylic acid is going to be off, because what we do know about the vaccine is you have to have it's a synthetic start codon. That's what it's called, AUG. Synthetic start codon that starts to make what they're calling the spike protein. But in order to do that, then you had to put a synthetic amount of methionine in there. And when your methionine levels are out, it's a sign that you took the vax, or you got something else synthetic or pathogenic in you that is now starting to make tissues inside of your body.
Right.
So that person would need to get one of the ARNA doctors to do a scan on them, look at that, and look at a few other areas to see if these things are balancing out.
Okay, and he's not like a national or anything like that, or a non-national either. I mean, is that still just a matter of him just getting in touch?
Yeah. It don't have to be a national to get a scan. But what city is he?
Oh, Louisville. We're here in Louisville, Kentucky.
We are in Louisville. So, I don't know if we have any certified bioscanners anywhere in Kentucky.
Yeah, as far as I know, I'm the only national in Kentucky.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have like a satellite area. Louisville. You got Nashville on this side, and we got North Carolina on this side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I know Sister Fatima is in Raleigh. I don't know how far away that is. And then I think we got somebody in Nashville with a bioscanner. So we just have to, coordinate to figure out what city he can come to get the scan. Because you're gonna have to travel either way, or come down here, to get the scan.
All right.
But that's how I'm gonna be able to tell.
Would you also say the mercury level is off as well in the bioscanner? Because I have scanned someone before and I noticed that was like extremely high.
Yeah, when you go to the metals, you could get mercury, chromium. Even my mother, I even saw the lead was up. I can't relegate it to that because I hadn't scanned her before to see if it went up, but and other people I scanned, the lead wasn't high when hers was high. But she got the Johnson & Johnson though. So, of course there was different ones. So, but yeah, you want to look at the metals, you want to look at the amino acids, and then you can look at, several other areas too, to see how the body is responding, especially the immune systems where we do bioscans. You're going to see a lot of activity in there when someone takes the vaccine.
Okay, thanks.
Real quick, fam, that methyl, can't remember how you said it. Yes, sir. Do you know if it'll be down more or if it will be higher?
Usually it's going to be higher, because of the excessive amount. I haven't had a case where it was lower. I don't think at this point I could say that it would be lower.
Okay.
I wouldn't totally count it out because I don't know everything that they put in it.
Right.
Usually, if you are having low amounts, then you're having poor protein synthesis, which can be caused by outside pathogen or something else. But I haven't seen it. And 12 people, it was always in the excess.
Copy that. Appreciate that.
Sure, yes, sir. So we are on week 6. We have 2 more weeks of this left. Like I said, the test will be very easy. It'll be automated. So basically, you'll get a link sent to you with the test, multiple choice, true, false. You'll take it. It will self-grade on the spot. So we'll be able to see the grade. You'll be able to see the grade. And that's it. You'll be done. And there will be, after that, like we have a lot of activity. We're going to be having SOS classes for brothers and DOS classes for sisters on a bi-weekly basis. We just have to get all the people appointed to actually carry out the classes because I don't want to do the male classes if we can get 3 or 4 brothers to run it. But within the next few weeks, we're going to organize all of that so that we can continue to train and kind of like we used to do FOI, MGT class in the nation. But of course, the idea is to build up the brotherhood and the sisterhood. And that's it. The whole design behind everything that we do is sharing so that everybody's on the same page and everybody can build up their family, economy, code, all of that. So we're on a good pace to do those things. And the nutrition becomes important because the more we know, the better we could do, the better we're going to feel, the healthier we're going to feel. And that's important. It's a process, but it's important. And the thing that I liked when I first came into the nation is everybody was pretty much eating 1 meal a day. So, when we did the fast and it was cool. And later on, things changed, and then, you feel like you don't have a support group. But when you feel like you have a support group and you got, we're doing the fast together, we're doing the nutrition together, we're doing events, powwows, all the other stuff. And the nutrition there is what we eat, it builds the culture a little bit better. And that's all on us to do. We all have to create those environments,
Chief, I got a few questions.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
How far out are we with the nationalization, like getting in touch with a jurist so we can deal with our own situation on a personal level?
Well, I took down a whole bunch of names. Some of those people I already contacted, but I didn't want to strain us here. So you're looking at 2 weeks because we'll be done with this in 2 weeks.
All right, got it. And I wanted to ask about, I need to start trying to network with some nationals in New York State for the time.
New York, who in the building? We got so many people in New York. Is other Arcane on here? What? You in New York City?
Nah, I'm about an hour outside of New York City. I'm downstate, Newburgh.
Newburgh. Okay. I know we got people in
New York. That's nothing for me to go to New York.
Oh yeah. We got nationals all throughout New York, Rochester. Some stuff for a few in Syracuse.
Even Jersey. I'm close to Jersey too.
Yeah. Let's see. Northern Jersey, Newark, Jersey City, a few in those areas.
Yeah, I'm close to
the biggest thing with fellowshipping with nationals is if we're not doing it on the online interface, if you have a local jurisdiction, then people are having meetings at some type of pace. But we have to get people.
Tried, but it didn't. It wasn't working for me. I didn't know if I was getting in the right group or.
Say it again. I didn't hear the first part. You got cut off.
Facebook group I gave about in the last Zoom that we did.
Oh, the Zulukin group. Which one? Which group?
What do you say?
We got several groups. We have the Cartomancy group where we're dealing with the cosmology stuff.
Yeah.
And we have the ARNA Indigenous Government actual group for the government. We still have a jurist group on there. I haven't been on there in a while. What else do we have as a group? Do we have I'm not sure. So I mean, most of the groups, there's automated interaction. I don't know if they're doing like, this kind of interaction on there. But the whole design behind ARNA, just to make it simple, the local jurisdiction solves all that problem. Because if you're in a local area, you have to have, in order to interact with people, a local jurisdiction. And so New York City, we don't have a local jurisdiction there right now, do we? I haven't gotten any updates, anything. So it's people there. I think the main thing that is happening is the internet makes people kind of lazy. So if some of us don't go like we used to and start teaching in the area, then the nationals feel like, I ain't gonna do it either. But, we gotta man up. If you got a flag, you gotta stick it in the ground somewhere. And that gotta be in your local jurisdiction. The local jurisdiction is the ability to congregate on a cyclical level. And it takes any national who wants to get at least 10 people to get it popping. And the things that we're doing, like, like the tour is to help with that, So I could go to a city and do some lectures over a weekend and get people excited, but then the consistency has to become based on people having the will and to do it, and that takes consistency, When I was in New York, or when I lived in Philly, New York was there because I would go there every Monday and teach, literally for years. But people have to step up. That's all it is. There's nothing else to say about that. People have to gradually want to step up, and we're getting ourselves in a better position to do it in a more functional way. And if you got the water and you in a desert, people are gonna come to drink. That's it.
That's right.
So we just gotta work out our design, get credentialed in certain things or whatever, and go out there and make the shit happen. That's how this happens. Like, you have to go out and make it happen. Get your family together. Let's go. We can have local meetings now. Got a family? Y'all can get it together and start having those particular things. But yeah, we have a lot of nationals in New York, Rochester, some in Syracuse, some in North Jersey. And this is over a year too, so some of the people might not even be on the line now, but they still around, and they'll pop their head every now and then. You know how this goes with our folk, man. They'll come back around whenever they get ready. But we had to have a more formidable structure. So some of the things that we're doing now is to get that structure stronger. So as more people come, they can be held accountable to either come and stay and be functional or peel out. Because we have too much to do. And either we're going to think like minions, or we're going to think like men and women. And men and women know that there's disorder on your planet and you got to do something to fix it. And so it's not difficult. It starts with yourself, starts with your family, starts with your community. Be an active resource in your community for yourself, your family, your community. If we all doing that all across the country, problem solved. And we don't have to solicit. Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was thinking about general order number 9.
Order number 9. To allow no one to commit a nuisance on or near my post. So can't be letting people commit nuisance on our post, and then we look at it because that violates general order number 1. You said you're going to take charge of a post. So that's why you're supposed to remember all 12 of those general orders, because that becomes a part of your behavioral DNA.
It's 100.
Yeah, man. Look, the thing that we got to say is either we're going to let problems proliferate or we're going to solve the problems. You know what I mean? That is the end of the conversation. So we can all decide, you know what? We got enough knowledge let's just stay in our houses and let the rest of them just die. Or we can say, you know what? If they die off, then the passage is going to be coming for us too. So we might as well go ahead on and get our hands and our feet dirty and go out here, educate people, have product services, let's get this thing going. And you'll be surprised. The world is ran by some dumb ass crime families. And it's all based on getting people to obey some shit that makes no sense. That's it. Just think about this. How many people have car insurance? The state requires you to have car insurance, right? But the car insurance companies are private companies. These are for-profit, Geico, Progressive. How does the state force people to do all of these things? The people don't know law, they don't know rights, and so they're forced into monopolies, and they don't know that they can form their own jurisdictions, have self-insurance, and do this stuff themselves. But it takes courage. It takes a certain type of people. And we literally have to breed new people through education, through mating, through all. We gotta breed new people. And all we have to do is keep doing it, stick to our plan, and that's it. We could do it without shooting any guns. So I think that everything we talked about tonight as far as our nutrition helps. And then something happens to you when you start getting physically stronger, you fast and you accomplish it, you eating better, your will and your behavior and your habits change. And when your will, your behavior and habits change, you feel better, you have more confidence. And that is what it's going to take for us to step up. It's going to take confidence. We have to go there. It's going to take confidence. When we was just first teaching, and it was me, Asasia, Mother Akosua, she's passed now, her husband, Brother Richard, they do the International Lobs Conference in Philly. And who else was it? Brother Isaac and Freedom. They used to come to the classes, and we was at 26 and Cecil B. Moore. It was like 4 or 5 of us in the class, handing out flyers for people to come to ISIS. Well, it was. That's how this got started. And we just kept going, kept teaching, kept going. Now look at it. It's jurists, it's indigenous doctors, it's cosmologists, it's people working, it's all the stuff going on. But all I'm trying to tell you is that started from people less than on this hand. So can't nobody tell me, I look at the messenger, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Master Farah Muhammad, 2 people with other family members got around, look at what they produce. So we got everything that we need to produce whatever we want. We have to go after it. That's it. And I'm positive that we are doing it and we will increase it, but this becomes necessary because it puts us on the same page. And I want to see everybody in ARNA physically healthy. That's one of my main goals to go throughout the rest of the year. So when we come back around to the summit, everybody's health, we don't have people that are having health complications. And it's a process. You know, we go through the education, go through changing the habits, and it happens. But a fast is painful because we like to eat. So it's a test. And you might pass the test with a C. Next time, you get a B. Next time, you get an A. In 3 months, you went from not being able to make the 3-day fast to doing the flying colors. And anybody who ever done it, when you do it, man, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't even explain it. There's a point where you start fasting and you get high. So we got to get all our folk on that level. That's where we got to get our folk. And when we get on that level, it ain't going to be no crazy stuff going on amongst us. It ain't going to be no nothing going on amongst us but, you know, progress. All right, y'all. It's 10:30, so I'm about to get off of here in a few minutes.
Peace.
Peace, family. What's going on, young lady?
How are you today?
I am doing awesome times 1,000.
Well, may that remain with you always. I had a couple of questions. One was, are there any nationals near the Cincinnati or even in Ohio area? Because I haven't been able to find any. Are you aware of any around?
Brother Lemuel Israel, he's not a national yet, but you know, he will be. He's an elder. And then we had Brother James Alexander, that's the brother Bully Graphics. I know me and him has some tension, but it's all good. I mean, that's still apart as it stands. But both of them are in Cincinnati. Then what we have in Cleveland? I don't know. I mean, there's so many people I don't know, and we have to come up with a better way, you know, to identify with who is where. I guess what we could do is we can do one of these lives and get a notice, and we have, you know, the listings. So I guess we could organize maybe an Excel spreadsheet by city. They can do that.
Nice. Because I was looking at some of the Facebook, I think it was Facebook's or IG ads, and I saw this brother, the graphics brother, and it had like 513. And I thought, oh my God, that's Cincinnati area code. But when I called and finally was able to get through, I'm not sure if it was the same brother or not, but he kind of didn't know what I was talking about when I mentioned ARNA. So I thought, well.
Oh yeah, well, that wasn't him. Maybe it was a different number. That brother knows about ARNA. So yeah, I don't know. But what I can do, I'll do make note to do two things to solve this. We get this question a lot, so I'm like, okay, well, I just want to link up with people local. We need an Excel spreadsheet by city.
Yeah, it's a little bit cheaper going around the local area than always flying to some other state or whatever.
Right.
And the other thing is, any idea how much longer it will be before I nationalize, or do I?
I know I was supposed to have yours by the 17th. After these 2 weeks, we'll be able to cover everybody, because I think we got like maybe 27 more people who IOTN did not do anything for. And
right.
Once this is over, I'll be able to give my full attention to that, to the jurors, because I'm going to be doing my jurors classes with them. So my timeline, exact timeline, we're looking at, this is now April. We're looking at by the third week of April, we should have all 27 of y'all complete, up to date with everything.
Oh, that would be wonderful. That would absolutely be wonderful.
By city.
So, and by the way, thank you for all that you do and the teachings. And I mean, I just get my little beanies off on all the scientific teachings and the nutritional stuff. So it's a lot of stuff that I was trying to do a long time ago and just didn't have any kind of support or anything like that. So I'm really in seventh heaven when you do the teachings and the scientific exposure. So, you know, may you always be blessed and stay healthy and all of that, because we really need that.
Yes, ma'am. We do need it. I promise you that. Got somebody with a background. Yeah, I promise that's just going to continue to grow. That's it. So I got a note to make an Excel sheet by city and to have phone numbers on that. So what I'll do,
Ali?
yes.
It's Love Sheet. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm powerful. Thank you for asking. I just wanted to chime in here. I know we talked about it before, but I really think that this accumulation of information can be collected in a very efficient manner.
Oh, we already know that. That's me and your conversation outside of
I'm just making sure that you know, because you're like a spreadsheet. I'm like, we got some things that are
whatever it is. I'm not the technician, you're the technician. So you'll be able to elaborate on that, outside of this venue when we start our work, because we've got a whole everything to do when it comes to disseminating information and getting these people. So this is Sister Love She. Y'all know who she is, and she's going to be helping headquarters, with all of these things. And we can figure that out, with getting people to be able to communicate with each other, or at least having access to people who are close to them.
Okay.
But yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, so go ahead, because I know you have more to just add on, because you could use the proper language and just kind of iron out to people what types of things that we can use, or we'll be able to use.
So I was just saying, putting a pin in it again, because I know you're busy and there are a lot of things getting ready to come up. So basically, the capabilities would be the ability to see, one, locations of people, the names of people. If people are looking for potential mates, for example, we could put something in there, whether they're, we could have a field where they're single or looking or whatever. Because I know that's come up before. Basically anything any information that a national would want to know as far as connecting could generate, and then collect the information from everyone, and then have it of either, I don't know how you want to do it, Ali, have it available for by jurisdiction, by city. We can do both, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess, it will come by based on the need, because, they begin the need, like, oh, I want to link up with people in my city. How are we able to distribute that information? And then, administrators will put that together and then, have that available for them. Or like you said, if we're doing, let's say, I don't know, we might be doing something for the summit where we're doing singles, and we have the whole singles thing. And then when everybody leaves, people want to know where everybody at, how can we populate that kind of data? And so this is what the sister is talking about. So that's our future in ARNA, being able to do that in an efficient way. And I apologize if I don't know the language, because that's not my field. But yeah, that is a line item agenda for us. We've been dealing with try to complete so we can focus on those types of things. We got somebody with some background noise, so you can mute your phone. I don't want to mute everybody, but if you got anything going on in the background, just kind of mute your phone so that everybody will have to hear it. Well, yes, that's what Sister Love is talking about. And yeah, that's on the horizon for us to do. And also to duplicate those processes on the local level, on local levels and business levels, you know? So when we have someone with that type of expertise or groups of them with that type of expertise, then we can make all of our systems more efficient. And that's what we want to do. That's what we want to do. All right, how we looking, y'all? Because I'm going to get off of this thing so I can save this and try to attend to some stuff that I got to do after this.
Hey, Chief,
Yes, sir, God.
I want to give you an update on the situation.
Talk to me, God. Oh, you want me to call you after this, or you want to do an update, right? Something just for the group.
No, I want to do it after.
Okay. As soon as I get off of this, I can call you.
Yes, sir.
My first name.
I have a question, Ali.
Yes, ma'am.
This is Lorraine Ziamaru. If I'm unsatisfied with the jurist that I was recommended, how do you handle that?
Okay. Do you have a
It's been months that I paid and service has not been rendered.
Okay, yeah, that's something that I have to take note of. So what you need to do is text this phone right here I have. You ready to take this number down so I can have that information? It's 267 257 5403. Text me your name and a basic summary so I can have your contact, and then I can handle it. Is this in regards to nationality or some other service?
Well, probably that too. I mean, I don't even know if I'm nationalized. I first went with the first, God, I can't think of their name now. Anyway.
Indigenous of the North?
I'm sorry?
Were you doing business with Indigenous of the North?
Yes, but then they kicked me out and I was.
Okay, you don't have to say the jurist name right now.
Okay.
I don't want
Oh, I wasn't going to give the name. I just wanted to know how to handle that situation.
yeah, that's a situation we have to handle at headquarters to take it and then try to get you with the proper person or whatever to resolve whatever hasn't been done yet.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. I
have one quick question.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Sorry. When we're doing the exercising and whatnot, are we to use that same one email that we had gotten with the broken link? Or how are we supposed to report what we're doing? Let me ask
You can just email it for now. You can just email it.
Email
to ARNA Nationals. You can email it to there's only one email we're using to communicate with y'all right now, and that's arnanationals@gmail.com.
But I mean, do you want me to just communicate in sentences that I did X amount of whatever push-ups or walk this much? Or how do you
we made a chart. I think we shared that with people, but if not, we'll share a chart. In the future, like Love She said, we'll be able to collect that information in an organized way, but you can Microsoft Word it, simple. If you want to put it in the chart, you can put it in the chart, different exercise, what you did, or just type it up into a document for now, just so we can have a record of it until we update those systems. But yes, you can email it to amarushiali@gmail.com or arnanationals@gmail.com. Just report what you're doing or what you completed, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, thank you very much, and peace and blessing unto you. Salam alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Have a great night.
Yes, ma'am. Wa alaikum salam.
Peace. I have a question about soil for your garden. The stone meal, is the stone meal like rock dust?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Rock dust is to be mixed with your composted or other maybe soil that you're buying. Some people, they get the pine tree soil, which I recommend that. I think that's the best as far as the soil compounds. It's pine trees crushed up into soil, basically. And I add the stone meal to that. And then everything else is just making sure you have irrigation, maybe a filter on your outside irrigation to take some of the toxins that come in the municipal water out. And after that, you're just dealing with sunlight.
So that's the fertilizer. That's all you would recommend is that, and good soil, that make all of that.
Yeah, because the composted soil and or the regular soil is going to have all of the other things besides the minerals. And it will have minerals too, but you're going to infuse more minerals into it with the stone meal or the rock dust. And that's pretty much all you need, literally.
Okay, thank you.
RNA Health Laws. Go ahead.
Peace. When you say pine tree, do you mean the pine bark?
They're using the tree, the bark, and the needles in a processing to grind it up into soil. So they sell it at Home Depot, Lowe's. Where else? Those are the only places I usually get it from.
About the pine needles, it was saying it was high in nitrogen. I don't know if that's true.
It's probably high in nitrates, which is not negative. That's actually a healthy thing. It's not isolated nitrogen or nitrites like they put in some of the soil. You see ammonium nitrate or ammonium nitrites. When you have nitrogen connected to 3 oxygens, they call it nitrates, and it's actually something healthy. So having nitrogen is not the problem. It's carbon and nitrogen ratios, and then making sure that if you do have nitrogen infused into soil, it's nitrates, which is connected to oxygen. But most of the soil outside of the ones we're talking about, if you're just going to get some of the conventional stuff, they're using ammonium nitrate. And that is going to create weaker immune systems for the plant. But I could take some pictures of what I have and then send it to you so you can see what I get, when I do the little home gardening and stuff. You can get that from Home Depot and Lowe's and Walmart. Sometimes I have never gotten it from Walmart, but I know Walmart has a gardening section. I'm not sure if they sell it.
And then in Atlan, do we have a local jurisdiction, or is that something that still needs to be formed?
That's something that still needs to be formed. Yeah, that's something that still needs to be formed. We had it as a line item agenda, but we wanted to run the rites of passage first, so we have a clean orientation process for people. You know what I mean? Because it was kind of janky in the sense that it might have put too much pressure on jurists when they're bringing people in. And so with this, once we automate the test, it's a pretty streamlined process where they can get directed to the videos, take the test, automatic, like Love she was talking about, systemize it so it can be automatically graded. And then now, they're ready to go. They took their tests, they're going to, finish their documentation or whatever. That makes it easier on the local jurisdiction. Because then we can also check, things quicker too. If you're a jurist or whatever, we have a system up where we can check these things quicker. So you'll know, somebody shows up to a meeting and say they're national, like, what's your last name? Boom, go on the phone, check it, boom, we got it. So that's going to make running the local jurisdictions more efficient than, how we had done it in the past.
All right.
Yeah, real quick, guys, just to give you a heads up, Shira's dad does he works on like automation. You know what I mean? I think he has like bots or something like that. So you need to tap in. You know what I mean? Like that's I think it's the goal to every business. Automation.
Yeah. Basically, what we're gonna do is set up a template here at headquarters, and then we can export it. So that'll be somebody who's administrator here talking to him, and we can, contract with him to help, do that type of stuff there. The idea is pretty much like everything else we do. We make a system and we export it to everybody so everybody can function with it, local jurisdiction and national.
Copy that. Appreciate it.
So. All right, how we doing, y'all? Because I got to get out of here because I know I got to get on the phone and I got like a million things to do, and I've been going all day long. Literally no food. I haven't eaten yet, so now I got to stay up late because I'm going to eat late.
Oh, good night, Allie. Thank you.
Yeah, good night. Get out of here. Get out of here, brother. All right, so we're done. I'm gonna save this so you can go back and review it. For those who want to review it, and we are going to have. Let's see, what's the day? Tuesday. Before we do our next one on Sunday, we're going to do a special class. I think we could do a Saturday morning on Form 56.
Oh, great.
We'll make sure people, because we didn't do it last Saturday, and we got to do it this Saturday. So, we'll do an update on that so everybody knows how to do that. And then we'll be back Sunday to do class 7 with one more class to go. And then we'll be done. Great. So we're moving swiftly through this. Hopefully this stuff is helping y'all just get a basic idea, fundamentals, and let's keep moving in the right direction. Thank y'all for having the patience tonight. Love y'all, and I'll make sure that everybody has access to this, by tomorrow.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Peace,
you.
God. Thank
Have
you.
some like-
Absolutely, y'all.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you.